If you're dating someone who is over-texting and over-communicating, it can feel so incredibly suffocating, and it's anxiety-inducing for both people involved. So let's unpack why they do it and what you can do about it. Now, there always are exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, when someone is over-texting or over-communicating, especially in the early stages of dating, very rarely is it about trying to exert overt control. It's usually driven out of anxiety and fear. So if we're looking at this through the attachment theory lens, it tends to be more about anxious preoccupied and sometimes our fearful avoidance if they're anxious leaning that are engaging in these behaviours. So the underlying wound tends to centre somewhere around that fear of abandonment. So for the people who are engaging in the over-texting, it's their way to sort of regain that proximity and self-regulate or self-soothe their anxiety in the face of what they perceive may be a potential disconnection in the connection. So for the person on the receiving end of this behaviour, it can feel incredibly suffocating, and it can be activating for them as well because you are always feeling like you're being monitored or on call. So many people just start to feel really pressured, and that in itself can activate their attachment system and want them to push away and remove themselves from the situation. So what can we do about this? If you are the person who is over-texting, have a pause and check in with yourself. Am I messaging them or contacting them to genuinely connect, or am I seeking reassurance for something? And if I'm seeking reassurance, what am I seeking reassurance for? So if you've identified that you are reassurance seeking, not connection seeking at that point in time, some really easy ways to just inject a bit of a pause into the situation so you don't flood the other person are things like journaling, some grounding exercises, or even simply just setting a timer before you message them again. Now, if you're the person on the receiving end of the constant barrage of communication, text messages, whatever it is, it's understandably very overwhelming and it can be quite anxiety inducing. So this becomes a perfect opportunity to practice some boundaries. So when we're talking about boundaries, don't just take whatever I say and that becomes your script. There's essentially 3 steps that you can use to identify what your boundary is and how you're going to communicate that. 1, lead with connection. So this could be something like, I really love our relationship, I'm really enjoying talking to you, whatever it is. And then it comes to point 2, name the behaviour or the problem. So to make it neutral, this is where you need to focus on the observable facts, take the feelings out of the equation, and don't make assumptions of intent. Which leads into point 3, stating your boundary and offer an alternative. So this is a perfect opportunity for you to express what you need, what helps you stay regulated, but also remain connected. So why this is a relatively healthy approach to the boundaries is we're leading in with connection, we're trying to maintain neutral language, and you're offering specific alternatives that allow both of you to negotiate the safe environment for connection. Now remember, if you want to keep up with the Understanding Attachment series, follow me on all of the Reconnection Co channels.